What is Mamelodi guys and mafias? Okay, but continue.
Remember that movie, Township mindset as a boy. I don't call myself local now because you can't be taking my suit and going to Dubai and wearing it for an event and you still call me local.
Yeah, we all know mindset, Wako guys. And I think maybe we do a disjustice sometimes because when we make it, we move out. Or when we are about to make it, we move out. Yeah.
Every step is important in your growth. We did not say every good and bad step. We said every step.
Yeah. Welcome to the Let's Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Leroy. And wow, man, it has been an amazing journey. I've procrastinated long enough and we are here. And I thought to myself, why not? I felt like Floyd, do we need another podcast? Let us engage with the masses and find out. But the reality of the matter is that we will always need real conversations. And this podcast is solely about that, dealing with every real issue in life, from life, love, and everything in between. And today I have the honor to host a brother of mine who's my image consultant. So whenever you see me with a suit that looks nice and is well fit to the specificities of my body cut, you must know that there is a master sewer that is behind the image. Mr. Khula Gavito himself is in the house. How's it, my G?
Fine, and you, sir?
I'm always looking dapper.
We try our best.
You found me in my Joseph era. Before cutting my hair, I'm still trying to grow my beard.
Oh, okay.
But I love the fact that you are always looking on point, man.
Yeah. They say the first thing that people see is your image.
Yeah.
And then they start to hear what you have in mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with
Yes,
that.
sir.
But for those who don't know you, please introduce yourself briefly, man.
No,
a brief introduction.
Yes. So my name is Johannes Khula Setole, born and bred in Mamelodi East, and to the world. And I have now a brand called Khula Gavito. And it's named Khula Gavito because I believe in the power of tongue.
Yeah.
So the name Khula actually means grow mkhulu. And then I had a nickname in the high school era, Skopate. I had a peers and I picked up a name called Gavito.
Okay.
Gavito was more of I think we were watching a movie, you know, all those back days, quite cool. There was a mafia movie that we watched.
What is Mamelodi guys and mafias? Okay, but continue.
Remember that movie, Township mindset as a boy. You pick a character movie. Gavito. So that guy was always looking nice and powerful, and whatever that he said went. And then Gavito, and then I believed and said, okay, let that brand be called Gavito, but let it have this power, the tongue. When people call it in full and say Khula Gavito, they're actually growing the brand.
Okay.
And
so they are speaking into existence what you spoke into existence.
Amen.
So this is biblically influenced.
Amen.
That's nice. Oh, by the way, the look for the podcast is sponsored by Mr. Gavito himself. So tell me, man, growing up in Mamelodi, when you grow up I grew up in Juguling.
Oh.
Soshanguve. And I know how difficult it was for me to see outside of the township, to be inspired by something that was way beyond your reach, so that you can bring back the inspiration, bring it home in order to build yourself up to be that thing that you saw outside of your hood. How challenging was it for you? Because now where I grew up, there were no motivational speakers, there were no authors.
Like you.
I can rightfully attest that I think I'm the first author. I go juguling. No, not Social Nguve as a whole. I mean, I'm just saying in the area that I grew up in. How challenging? Because when we grew up, yes, there was internet, but it was dial-up. It was very slow, and very few households had access to it. You only had options for the channel before DSTV was a thing. So I'm just simply trying to paint a picture of how difficult it was for you. You couldn't just get on your phone, switch it on like we do now to see people doing stuff in real time on TikTok, Instagram. So how difficult was it for you to get the mindset you needed in order for you to become this version of you that you are now?
I think it was more of a survival and a dream.
Okay.
Before we get to the purpose, I was mostly raised by my grandmother. Time spaces ko SNS, and nabereka ku di kitchening. I remember the fact that I'm illustrating on this is that nantlela diaparo tse di tlhatswitsweng, so they were not new.
Okay.
Re bitsa mbata mo Pitori.
Yeah.
Tengwana Jacob.
The old layer.
Yeah, the old layer tsa Jacob. Yeah, na di tlisa monna. And at that time, I think it was more of Nikili more, what do you call this? Adolescence phase?
Yeah.
Where you need to dress up. When I was the ACG, Hempeta Mashosho, Levi's 541, booty twisted, and Mamelodi is a township, and Pretoria as a whole, basically.
Yeah, 541 was the thing.
Yes, yeah. It's a township, how they look at what you wear before they start engaging with you. And so I had to take the Mbata and try to make them stylish.
Yeah.
So I can fit in, wear the packing, wear the fountains, wear the guy, and look stylish. And I think that's where love of fashion. And I call myself an image consultant because I know I'm the first image that I worked on how people see you, got brands, and how you can style them and to look appropriate and different. So the chumita kanele balebo mama bona ba khono barakela di kavela and stuff like that. Now I had to make sure the malumaka they fit me and look stylish so that I can just fit in because nekarata monate at that time. Yeah. and if ki aperika whatever the
it must you look the part. Yeah.
You know. Okay. So that was the dream for me and social media also played a good, you mentioning internet, played a very good foundation base with my brand because I was working like SAP as an admin clerk.
Okay.
And the first thing that I went there, they made me sign a dress code policy and on how you need to look the part because we were on the level of national strategic meetings. And I would walk in a boardroom and my managers at that time, supervisors, SAPS is a very strict behavior kind of environment. Yeah. Director, you can't just say hola. You need to
respect the rank.
Yes, you need to speak to them appropriate and sit appropriate and dress appropriate. Yeah. And that's where I started searching fashion, how to wear a suit with what and how to do this and do this. Kante, I am pushing that whole young man in me. And social media, then I started sharing what we call outfits of the day. Okay. So I showed people what I'm wearing today from the wardrobe, and people started now engaging up until it became a service rendered. Then they started paying for it, like you.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. But I mean, for a young boy in the hood who is playing with a sewing machine now, and we all know mindset wakokas, and I think maybe we do a disjustice sometimes because when we make it, we move out, or when we are about to make it, we move out. What do you say to that young boy who wants to build a brand, a fashion brand with everybody? It seems like everybody is doing t-shirts these days, and everybody's doing caps. Everybody is and I'm not. I always say we can never have enough of anything, but it's how you execute it that literally sets you apart. So, what do you say to that young boy who literally looks at the Gucci's of this world and looks at the brands that have made it? Yeah, now and then wake up is starting out the way you start out. The mental challenges and the mental hiccups that they need to literally overcome. I think maybe explain your process before people knowing who you are. We all start from a place of anonymousness. So how do you encourage that boy or that young man who's sitting, maybe go juguleni, go tlapati, serope mperekele, plastic view.
So shy, I think, and not even I think, I know for a fact that you need to think out of the box.
Yeah.
Whatever limits and the lines that you have, as you said, may it be monetary, may it be behavior, may it be what. Think outside the box. Have a vision and how you want to see yourself and where. And I think that also for me had a power impact. And I always have this triple P's that I call pray, plan, and push.
Yeah.
You know, when you kneel down and pray and push towards what you want, then you start having an ideas and pushing boundaries outside of where you are at that time. Remember, we have township mindsets where you sit down and you sit with your peers on the corner or thinking, I want to start a brand like this. And they always, I don't know, they call it oppress, but now I say it's a power part. Button. Khula, we're now having a brand.
Where they'll speak you out of purpose if you allow them.
Melody like this, when you think people will wear brand. Why would people leave Gucci's and them but like a Khula Gavito? And today we're sitting here like this, we're wearing the same name. Yeah. And if I were to listen to them at that time, and I think Ngabiki Simokili and the purpose, on life, having to go to weddings and you change people's image and you make them look the part but we mainly say on a group on a tent full of people. Yeah. And they say I'm looking like this because of this guy.
Yeah.
And you remember, you rewind and you like, ish. There was times where I was so afraid of doing this. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't even think. But today I get an invite with a private VIP capital letter to say we need you here to do this purpose in life.
Yeah, but I think most of the time we do a disjustice in ourselves because when we look like we've made it or we look like success, we fail to talk about the process it took to get to this point. Yeah. The sleepless nights, the doubting yourself, the almost quitting. Never mind what people said. You yourself, the fact that you ufeditse kwedu sa rekisa le suit wa no skipa se so. So I think maybe we glamorize entrepreneurship without actually talking about the struggles, the between here and there.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to pull yourself through those days where you actually felt like quitting? Because I know you set up an event sometimes and only 10 people show up in a 100-seater theater. You write a book sometimes and only 20 people or 100 people buy it and no one comes back. How do you maintain not doubting yourself or doubting the purpose or doubting the prayer that you initiated in the process? Because between here and there is a struggle. And we really talk about the real challenges that literally affect entrepreneurs. And I had somebody talk down on people about 9 to 5. And I said to them, everybody needs to do something. And the reality is the reason why there's a 9 to 5 is because there's an entrepreneur that sweated in order to have that building that could employ.
And they are my clients as we speak.
You know what I'm saying? So let's deal with the mental challenges that you had to pull yourself, the dark places that you had to pull yourself out of in order for the business to be self-sustainable.
Yeah. As I said, I was just speaking scenarios because I wanted you to understand that it firstly started by not listening to what people say.
Yeah.
And it went to me being a big dreamer.
Yeah.
And then me starting to change my own image on how people saw me. And me starting to understand fashion in its own sense and where do you need to be and how. So I think also that had a hard, and I mean hard, affect in all doing this the right way. And local brands also at that level. I don't call myself local now because you can't be taking my suit and going to Dubai and wearing it for an event and you still call me local. Yeah. No.
I like that.
So it's we over there.
I like that.
And I always had that caption when I say you will remember the name when I always post my at that time a small videos.
When you were your only audience.
Yeah, I said you will remember my name and I spoke into the universe saying that if you come to me and I make a suit for you and you go sit with those top. I remember there was an attorney who called me, or was he a judge, for his son's matric dance suit, and he said to me, "Amfana kana usalomunyano kasinkape sununa ke aparatsa ku Italy and stuff like that." And then I went back to his office and I wanted to show him the fact that the same mindset that he has with the fabric, I'm doing the whole thing. And the nice experience about this is you get to experience your suit being tailored right there. Yeah. And I wanted to sell this on him so much. But you need such people. And you need people that will also say, we believe in you. And that's where the support and the applause comes in.
But I think what I like, judging from everything you said, what I love about you is before the belief comes from outside, it was already built inside. So whether they came to buy or not, whether they recognize it as local or international, the mindset was already fixed. And I think I like the fact that beyond anything, beyond your talent and your ability, this idea of faith where you speak things into existence. I think for me, that encapsulates the success element of your brand to say it is not just a name, but you literally had to live it, experience it, believe in it so that you can express it, so that others could also fall in love with it. And I think maybe that's the challenge with most entrepreneurs. They want to sell what they don't believe
in. There's a saying, it's the last one of my clients, Muisa, he said it's so easy, but it's so big. He said, I am just a young man, poor as I am. I don't have an appointment with success.
Yeah.
And I think I sat down and I was like, what? So now I think I'm one of those products. I did not have an appointment with success. I had nothing to lose. The only thing was for me to open the door and want it to be seen as how I'm capable of on what I have to showcase. And that sometimes that it pushes you to a level. I remember there's times where Ninkanamela takes, it's not Uber at that time, and get Santain and just go grab a cup of coffee because I was looking prepper. And I wanted to move out from this thing, partying, for party and you come back. I wanted to see life on that level. Sit there and look at other people and how they behave. There's a certain etiquette that you behave when you're wearing a suit.
Yeah.
And you would see people having meetings in coffee shops. And that pushed me. And that's where I pushed most of my clientele. Remember, they support and there's clients. And also the fact that, one of my advices that I would give any entrepreneur, fame doesn't put food on the table. You need profit to progress.
Fact.
So I worked so much on understanding.
Survival is not progress.
Yes, I worked so much on having understanding the garment and the quality of the garment and selling quality. That way I can gain progress on the profit.
Yeah.
Because I did not have an uncle who would call me and my boy, it's 100,000. What do you want to be?
I want to transfer.
I cannot capital. So most of my capital comes from the garment that I'm selling at that time. So I had to push so much to go and get what we call wealthy clients, if you call them that way. But they're still the same people that you need to go convince. One thing I like about those people as clients, they know quality.
Yeah, they know what they're paying for.
So
you can't out-convince them.
No, that escalated me to say, okay, give these people quality and become...
And they'll come back.
Yes, and be relevant.
Yeah.
I think there was a time, sorry to say this, but it's all experiences now coming in.
Yes.
We sat down, Niki Katamiriri, and one of the, client, and he said, "Are you not?" No, but I am. But tell me, there's something about the brand. I feel like I holy man come cool. He understand, and I said to him, but you don't understand. Building a brand is solely based on profit and consistency.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go blela so another product there.
No, and lenaka muti se karbona wena wa pairing no. People that should know and that knows the brand
are the ones who support the brand. Yeah. Look, I think let's jump into this last segment. Yeah. How do you balance marriage and hustle? Because women, Matiri Jakes once said something, Harry. It's either you have me and we don't have the money, or we have the money and you don't have me. Meaning I won't always be there.
Yes.
So how then are you able to extend yourself as a husband, a father, and as a businessman that is still working? Because I don't think the brand is where you want it to be at the moment. It's still in a progressive stage. Yes, you are happy with the achievements, you are happy with the level that you are at, but I'm thinking you would want to see yourself having outlets in malls and all of that. So there's still a great deal of work that needs to go into the brand. So how do you balance you making sure that things are well at home and things are well at the Khula Gavito empire?
Yeah. I think and I'm going to put this back to the table. We mentioned something before we came in.
Yeah.
Every step is important in your growth. We did not say every good and bad step. We said every step.
Yeah.
And I think along the way of my love life and marriage life and relationship, basically with friends and stuff, I've lost people that I surely did not think that I would lose. And it's because maybe mainly of this attention of detail that I have. Growing, being sleepless nights, clients call you today and they don't want this color, they want this color. And that affects you so much into the household. Now I always say dating an entrepreneur is like dating a president. You know, because and I never understood how people say mood could just swift.
No, but leave the hustle at the door and
But yes, but unfortunately now I lost a lot of people because I took the hustle into the house. Because when I came in, I was so happy today because Mr. Leroy bought 2 suits. And then I'm the best man ever.
You felt fulfilled.
You know, I would provide you all those peas, my love, and everything. Immediately when the client calls me now and says, I'm not happy with this, the mood swings goes up and down.
Do you think it's important to educate your partner about your business?
And that's when I then say, now I'm the best partner that you could even have. Now I'm saying this. Because then I sat down and I said, you know what? On this relationship, I'm going to win it with experience, those steps that I had in losing, those that I did not see myself losing. So when Mr. Leroy will call me and say, you know what, Kimo Nwani, I'm going to Senton, and I would think if we could meet for measurements and you keep my measurement, Kitonya Kasutu next week, I would say, baby, Kopela Utsuhe Remugrachi. I wanted her to understand
experience
that Akina 8 to 5. If I'm leaving 10:55 PM, a client calls me from the highway, it doesn't make sense. If you say to your partner, 11, there's a client basically.
So that tomorrow when you say, game you go N1, game the client, it makes sense.
Yes, but no, please let's just run fast. Remo for ways, client measurement. I wanted her to see the behind the scenes of me. And that client say envelope, at that moment, cash, my love, guy. On that 5 minutes, that if and not, 5,000, 6,000 now, and then we return share or so that when you have busy seasons and stuff like that, she understands and trusts that you are basically doing that. And
the groundwork.
So the involvement, basically. Clients, office night, weddings. When I go to a wedding, when people call me and say, we need your styling services, and I work at that time, and okay, this guy sweats to the tees of this suit looking proper.
So you are basically saying it's important to integrate them in the understanding and the process it takes to build your brand. Because if you are affected by the on and offs or the ups and downs of the brand, it automatically affects. So they need to be equipped and capacitated to be able to handle you on that front.
I was telling one of my church mates, one thing that I've learned is that, they used to make their partners and we need to start doing that on this level of generation now. You don't have to be I love you only, good night. Can we have no. Guess what? Mr. Leroy, podcast, this. On a Sunday, on a Thursday also we can do this. Involve. That way when you grow muscle mind-wise, they grow with you, entrepreneurial-wise. Because maybe an hour 9 to 5. She doesn't understand how a client can just call you 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's unprofessional.
An appointment.
6,000 is amazing.
So when you involve, you understand the things mentally to your level.
Yes. And then it builds the intimacy levels. I love that. So in conclusion, what is your advice to guys who want to aspire to be like you, and to whether it be it guys or women, or to individuals that want to come to the level that you are at? Your take home, your word of advice.
Love your work so much. Pray, plan, and progress.
Yeah.
And just dream out of the box. Learn so much of your garments and what you are selling, the products, and have quality on that so that you can have profit, because with profit, there's sustainability, and that's growth on its own.
Pray, plan, and progress.
Amen.
You heard it yourself.
Triple P's.
Triple P's. The Khula Gavito method to success. Pray, plan, and progress. So without prayer, there's no progress. And without prayer, there is no sustainability to the plans. I love that. My brother, thank you very much for allowing us an audience and giving us your time. How can people get hold of you?
I've been blessed to have a website.
Yeah. And people don't understand.
They don't have
it's a costly
I have
exercise.
to say that.
Yeah.
So it's www.khulagavito, KHULAGAVITO.com. And then when you go there, just down there, there's all my social medias.
Okay, sweet. So we'll put it up on the screen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be real with Leroy Tao. In order for you to succeed, unfortunately, if you're in a relationship, you need to incorporate your woman so that they understand the processes. Remember, pray, plan, and progress. Words from Mr. Khula Gavito himself. Until next time, like, subscribe, share with your family, your friends, even your ex. See you on the next one. Thank you.